the Angels, let me see, the California, Anaheim, Los Angeles, somewhere on the West Coast, Angels, whatever you want to call them, that they're not going to trade Ohtani. I think that's the right thing to do at this point. He nails it. Why do you want to take that away from your fans when you got the chance to see one of the greatest players in current history perform? And let's not go past the other issue, making money, because they're making money also on Ohtani, and their fans are there. So I agree with him. I don't think Ohtani moves at all. I said that weeks ago.
No, right now he's not. He's pitching this afternoon early against Detroit. They're 6-1 in their last 7. If they sweep this doubleheader today, that'll be 8-1. If they lose these 2 games, they better not lose these 2 games to Detroit. God forbid they get swept. They should sweep Detroit. They should, but I think they'd be happy with the split. It's tough. I don't care what level you're at. It's tough to sweep a doubleheader. But they still got to jump over the Yankees and the Red Sox. That's the thing. They got some work to do. And my thing is, I don't really trust Moreno. I know he's saying what he said now, and they should go for it. Mike Trout's coming back. I mean, they should go for it in some way, shape, or form. I think they will, but I don't implicitly trust Moreno to do the right thing. And I think they're going to be very difficult for them to jump over the Red Sox and the Yankees. And the Mariners are only half a game behind them.
Yeah, but I think it's nice having it in there.
That's the biggest
fan base. Have it in there and let the guy play and at least take a shot. Yes. You're close. That's a smart business.
I agree. Totally agree. Yeah.
Well, I think that was the biggest point that Ken brought up was they had never been this close to a postseason spot at this time since 2017.
How many World Series has Mike Trout been in?
That's the big key. Now, yes, Pete, you're right. How many what?
How many World Series has Mike Trout been in?
World Series, not. He's only been in 1 playoff series.
Right, 1, and that's in the Moreno era, and there's one of the best.
He's only been in 1.
He won playoff series.
Right.
I understand that, but if he's been in 1 playoff series, if you are Arte Moreno, can you, despite your billions, can you look at someone, if you were to trade Ohtani, can you look at someone right in the face and say, I'm comfortable trading this generation's Babe Ruth? I don't think you can.
No.
If you lose him at the end of the year, that's so be it. That's his choice. You can spin it. That he didn't want to be here. But you cannot trade him because, honestly, you're not getting enough value in return. He's only got a half a year left in his contract. What are you actually getting in return on a trade for Shohei Ohtani? On the flip side, you then make the announcement.
He's that generational player right now, but if you look where he's going, the people who are saying that the smartest place for him to wind up is Baltimore. What, are you serious? Are you stoned? Are you jacked on crack somewhere? I mean, even Ohtani and his people don't want to wind up there. That's not a franchise that's sitting there for the future. If Ohtani wants to go somewhere and his management wants to put him in the right place, hey, guys, I'll tell you what, Dodgers would be perfect for him. Giants wouldn't be bad. Even Seattle wouldn't be bad. But now they're talking about maybe going to Baltimore or Arizona? I mean, for God's sake, why would anyone want to be buried in that hellhole in Arizona?
Well, hang on. I'm gonna fight you on. I'm gonna fight him on Baltimore, Pete.
Okay.
I want to fight him on Baltimore. Baltimore used their picks wisely over the last 5 years of suctitude. And actually, I think it was 8 years of suctitude. That team is going to be here for the next 4 or 5 years. That team is going to be one hell of a team at the top of the American League East. Yes, put that down. That's the next one you're coming after me on in a couple of months.
Substitute. I wasn't writing down anything else because you coined a perfect word, so I got to get that in somewhere. Okay.
You like
very nice.
You like
that? But he wants to go right now. He wants to go this year. If they trade, he wants to go to a contender. He's already said he wants to go to a contender eventually. Now I know he likes the. I mean, again, remember this guy was not drafted.
Correct.
Did it?
Yeah, he chose Anaheim.
Well, he chose Anaheim, I think, because it was a good place for him to play and then make that next move. That's the question.
Yeah.
Kevin's right. Baltimore might be. He does not, because they're not up and coming. They're here. Teams like Baltimore and Arizona, they're not up and coming. They're kind of here. I don't think he wants to be a Yankee. I don't think he wants to be. He does not want to. He's not a spotlight guy. He wants to mind his own business. and play baseball and go home. I mean, if he went to the Orioles, that wouldn't shock me. Now, whether they pay him $700 million, $500 million, or whatever it's going to be, that's a different story. Who's going to pay out all that
Still,
money?
is that still cheap? Is that still cheap Angelos in there in Baltimore, or is he finally out? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know.
I can't remember.
But
I don't even know. I know, but
you bring up a great point though about the Yankees, though, Pete. Why, in the name of sweet baseball gods, would anybody want to play in the Bronx right now? I mean, why would anybody? If you think about it, from a competitive standpoint, from a fan standpoint, from a franchise standpoint, from a city standpoint, hey, there's a lot of guys that don't want to play in New York anymore. They don't want to play for the Mets or the Yankees. They want to go someplace else. So your point's well taken. The Yankees, we always used to sit there in our era and go, the evil empire, they're going to steal everybody. Bullshit. Nope. I don't see a lot of people lining up to go to New York, and I think that's right with the way the game is expanded.
Well, let's see what happens here. They did. I mean, a lot of people do line up. They want to go there. Now they can't pay everybody the kind of money they're paying them, but you got to look at who can make it serious. Who's going to make it serious, and what's right for him. We always think about it from art. We know what's right for us. Actually, believe it or not, sometimes it does happen occasionally. Ohtani may be one of those guys. He's not necessarily going to go for the most gigantic contract.
Right.
He may not if he remains a free agent. And what if God forbid he did get traded to the Yankees or the Mets? And then even more, God forbid, what if he does well and then loves it for some reason? Then what happens?
But you know what it is? It's almost, if you look at it, a lot of the players from overseas, and certainly in the Japanese culture, they don't look at the money as being the single biggest thing in the world. To them, it is more about where they live, how they live, what they're involved in, what the game is, who the fans are, what kind of organization it is. While the American players and a lot of the Latin American players will immediately think how much money I'm going to make. It's worth talking about the influence, the Asian baseball influence, that to me is a whole lot more amenable to really creating great teams and great players than worrying about the greedy slobs who all want to figure out first, how much money am I going to get, and I don't care where I play.